Hello. Sorry it took a little bit again. If you want, you can hit us up on www.dbnebmusic.com. I'm your co-host, DJ Ken Mustafa, because the lovely Miss Gabie is here with the brother. I consider him most honorable. My brother Junior Juwara, Blake. But Gabie, how you feel today?
I'm good. I'm feeling up and Adam. Took a long nap this afternoon, so we're good. Took a very long nap. Oh, not a nap. 3 hours sleep. That's not a nap.
Oh yeah,
so I'm up and Adam.
Oh yeah, you look so refreshed. I'm telling you, it's always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
Same here. Well, I'm glad our viewers are back in. I miss them. You know, y'all know what it is. We're back here at dbnebmusic.com. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Write them all in. You know, we're going to do something a little different. You know, we do our entertainment shows up here. We get the rappers and the comedians, and we've had some political guests up here also. So today's going to be one of those informational shows again on the Miss Gabie Show with DJ Ken Mustafa. Big KV in the house. Naya on the camera today. Shout out to AP to TA who couldn't be with us right now. Maybe next week. So that's what it is. Anyway, so today's topic, we have Brother Junior Juwara Blake today. He's owner and founder of Vegan's Delight restaurant in the Bronx on Boston Road. So we have him here with us today. He's to my right. That would be him.
Indeed.
And we're going to talk. We're going to talk about.
I love it, man.
Yeah, vegan dieting, vegan eating, a vegan way of life, healthy distributors. Yeah, that's HEALTHEE tonics and his whole brand and his distribution. How you get in touch with him? We're going to talk about the concept of eating to live and not living to eat.
Yeah, it's a wonderful concept. Yes.
Yeah. Most Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan signed off on that. So we're going to talk about, we're going to go through that. And of course, you can always call in. If you're logged in, you can call us with any questions. You know, I have some questions of my own also because I've been trying to lose the rest of this weight. So
I'm looking forward to answering your
welcome.
questions. Yes.
Welcome. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. Yes.
Yeah, and it's a local presence. So we're definitely going to support this movement too. Because
local presence, local, worldly.
Yeah, he is definitely worldly presence. But like I'm grasping onto the fact and loving that he's a part of our community. You know, the rest of the world knows him for his tonics and so on and his distribution. But I love the fact that this is a local businessman in my community.
But you know what's the greatest thing about it that I say, you know, like you said, locally, is that a lot of people think that we don't bring fruit out of our community like that. You know what I mean? That you know that I'm honored, man, to have you here.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
You know, since you're talking about being local and you know, or significance as a local manufacturer, you know, it's interesting nowadays. There's so many products in the marketplace that are, you know, getting global recognition.
Right.
For example, you've heard about noni, acai, goji.
Oh yeah.
Various kinds of chia vida, all kinds of products are out there today. But it's important to know this, that we are the very first to bring this kind of product to the marketplace.
Yes.
You know, indeed. So all those people who are bringing these kinds of products, they're actually following in our footsteps.
Absolutely. Now, you've been in business about 17 years?
No.
The restaurant, at least, Vegan's Delight.
Yeah, Vegan's Delight is about 20 years.
20 years, okay.
We've been doing tonics since 1988.
Wow.
Yeah, so, you know, when we...
almost 30 years,
when we started tonic, the impact on our community was so dramatic.
Right.
Yes. And this is why so many people quietly observed what we were doing, and people went out, found products that they could market in a similar kind of way. Because we were the first to bring products to the marketplace that would energize people, cleanse people, begin to address issues, ailments that people were dealing with, and their drugs weren't helping them.
Right.
And so it was a very, very dramatic thing when we came to the marketplace in about 1986, 1987.
Okay, so I thought the Vegan's Delight restaurant was first, but actually your healthy brand was first. So let's start there then.
It's an interesting thing. Vegan's Delight just happened to be something that popped out of it.
Popped out of it.
Yeah,
okay.
It's not something that we actually planned.
Nice. All right, so let's go back, because I was going to start with the restaurant, but let's start with Healthee first. The Healthee brand, which is your brand that you manufacture and distribute worldwide. Okay, first things first. Is there a website that people can go to order your products, or should they just Google it and they'll find?
They can Google it and they'll find it. And there's a reason why we don't have a website at this time. But you know what it is, we're going to market our products on the Vegans Delight website.
Okay.
We actually wanted to do a Healthee website. We actually put it up and took it back.
Right. So it says
so
construction.
now we're going to do it under Vegans Delight.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's Healthee. It's actually Healthy Endeavors, correct?
Healthy Endeavors, yeah.
That's the actual name.
HEALTHEE. And of course, that word was chosen because it means something. It means two things. We call it like a double entendre.
Right.
One, it means healthy, and it also means heal thee. So some people actually say heal thee, which is correct, and some people say healthy, whichever you say it's correct.
I've learned something. That's nice.
Yeah.
Healthy. I never even thought about the concept of that.
Yes,
Now you put it to. So now, some of the three of the tonics that stood out when I Googled it, because I did, was Dr. Bird Bitters, Herbal Harmony, and Woodroot Tonic. Are those your three biggest sellers?
Yes, those are our three main products, and together we call them the Trinity of internal hygiene, because we focus on the concept of internal hygiene, because we recognize that our human family aren't paying attention to maintaining cleanliness and purity inside. You know how important a daily shower or a bath is to people. You know how important it is to wear clean clothes, to make sure your environment is clean. You see people take their cars to the wash and make sure that it's detailed and all that kind of stuff. But what about the inside of our body communities? That's the key. So if people wonder why is it that we're suffering from so many ailments, it's because we're not making sure that our lungs are cleaned, our livers are cleansed, our gastrointestinal tract is cleansed, that our kidneys are flushed, that our lymphatic system is taken care of. When we do that, we are actually enhancing our immunity.
Okay. Now, as a personal question, what tonics or what products do you sell that are good for colon health? Like, you want to clean your colon. I'm trying to drop another 15 pounds.
Well, I'll suggest to you
what kind of regimen do you have?
All three of the products we call the Trinity of Internal Hygiene, the Mount Atlantis Woodroot Tonic, Dr. Bird Bitters. It's actually Dr. Bird Bitters, Nerve Food, and Cellular Ultrative. There's also our Herbal Harmony 555. All three products will offer colon cleansing. But Herbal Harmony 555 is a product that's specifically designed for that.
Really?
And it works by stimulating both the liver and the gallbladder to lubricate the gastrointestinal tract, to improve or to increase peristalsis, because most people who suffer from constipation because the muscles in the walls of the gastrointestinal tract have become so weak that they're no longer working. So there are a lot of people who are concerned about habitual laxatives, and doctors tell people don't take this too often, but when we know the body community, when we know how it works, then you understand what you're doing. We need to know that if your gastrointestinal tract is destroyed, or if it has become so flaccid, so weak that the muscles no longer work, you can't take your gastrointestinal tract to the gym and do pump iron. So what you have to do, by encouraging peristalsis constantly, it actually rebuilds itself. And of course, over a 7-year period, you'll actually end up with a new gastrointestinal tract.
I didn't even know it regenerates itself.
Yes.
I don't mean to cut you now. Just like I said, this is an information show, so some people may not know the definition of peristalsis. Can you break that down?
Absolutely. People might see a snake slithering along. A snake moves by, the way the muscular spasm happens along the body, along the snake's body from head to foot. It's the same thing for a worm. What it is, there's a series of muscular spasm that goes along the body. Well, it's the same thing for us when we put food, when we ingest food, when we put food inside of our mouth. The moment the food touches our tongue, it stimulates a peristaltic action that moves from our mouth to our anus. So it's designed that way so that we fulfill this function, so that the intestinal tract keeps on clearing itself so it can make way for the new food that you're putting in.
Right.
If that's not happening, then what we keep on doing, we pack stuff on top of stuff.
And the food is building up.
And it's building up. So we're becoming constipated. We're having a lot of putrefaction inside the gastrointestinal tract, and that's how people end up with bad odors when they pass their gases, terrible odors. People get smelly. They have to use colognes and perfumes so that we can feel better. Some people end up with bad breath.
Because the colon's very porous.
Yes, it's not only is it porous, but it's now
expanding.
Stretching. Yes.
So you'll have the belly. They said Elvis suffered from that.
Yeah, I mean, so many people.
But that's an example that people wouldn't know from the expanded belly, and people think this is all belly fat.
Yes.
And it's actually the colon and the stomach.
That's expanding.
Just packing in food.
Yes, absolutely. So, so when we put food in our body, that peristaltic action starts. For most people, it ends somewhere the duodenum, the small intestines. Most people, the large intestines are so expanded and flaccid that they no longer have bowel movements. Some people have bowel movements once a week. Some people once a month. All kind of weird things are happening.
Right. You're supposed to have bowel movements after every meal, at least 3 times a day.
Yeah, 3 after every meal plus 1.
Right. So at least 4 times.
And the one, not necessarily. Some people might eat twice per day, but after each meal plus 1, the 1 is up and arising.
Right.
Once you rise up in the morning, you should have a bowel movement. Mm-hmm.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. So y'all know what it is. So now, if that's not happening, this is where you get the information. Mm-hmm. Healthy Endeavors food products, health products. Mm-hmm. Help you right out. You can even call a store and speak to Brother Junior, and he can advise you on what he has or what you could be using.
Sure.
Right? Mm-hmm. So you also go into herbs, capsules, different tabs for different things.
Well, basically, our products come in 2 forms. We do liquids and herbs, and tablets and capsules. So, like, for example, Herbal Harmony Formula 555 is available in a capsule form and in a tablet form. We recently added the VegaCaps because there's some people who say they prefer to take capsules over herbs. But whatever it is, our tablets are uncoated, they're non-binders, so they really dissolve in the stomach very easily. But as I pointed out earlier, Herbal Harmony 555 made especially for gastrointestinal cleansing from mouth to anus. And of course, it is one of the very important benefits that you derive from Herbal Harmony 555 is the fact that it's a lymphatic drainer. That's something that we want our community to pay attention to, especially people in our community who are suffering from edema. People with edematous conditions. If you're getting those swollen legs, swollen joints, listen, it means that your lymphatic system is stagnant. Flush it out, take the Herbal Harmony 555, and you'll see a difference immediately.
Now, how affordable are your products at your store?
Repeat?
How affordable are your products?
Oh, extremely. Because what we've observed in the business of marketing herbal products, we see people selling products out there for hundreds of dollars.
Absolutely.
And in fact, I've made the argument that if a bottle of noni is worth $40, then a bottle at equivalent size of Woodrow Tonic or Dr. Bird Bitters would be worth like about $10,000.
Wow.
But the prices that you pick these things up are less than noni, less than all these fancy beverages that you have in the market.
That's the advertisers selling the dream.
Yes, so it's very affordable.
Without telling them that it's also packed with preservatives and all these little extra punches.
And that's the great thing about our products. Absolutely no preservatives, no chemicals. In our Herbal Harmony, in our tablets and capsules, strictly herbs. In our liquid herbal products, herbs and distilled spring water only.
Wow, okay.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
Nice. So, all right, so that's for internal cleansing, which will lead to benefits of other things like better skin, nails, hair, eyesight. Okay.
Internal hygiene is just... How we describe internal hygiene is this. We say prevention is better than cure.
Right.
So if we practice internal hygiene, what we'll see is that we'll maintain beautiful skin, We'll stay more youthful. Our hair will be nice. We'll just have less problems.
Right.
We won't be visiting the emergency room. We won't be going to the doctors often. You know, your life.
Keeping the pharmaceutical companies in business.
You won't be getting all those little, stuff all the time. You know, I've been living like this for about 35 years.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
And if you see me and see my peers,
Right.
you'll understand
Right.
the difference.
Very, very youthful looking. Very beautiful skin, strong hair. The hair is strong.
Absolutely.
The hair is strong. So now, because you're vegan, that means none of these products have, like you said, they're all natural. So they have nothing to do with meat byproducts, dairy.
Yes, absolutely. Because I'm a practicing vegan, I tend to apply my philosophy and my principles to my manufacturing process. So the word is purity.
Right.
A high degree of purity, because I believe in the maintenance of purity of our spirits.
Okay.
Yes. And so even our consciences should be purified as well.
Right.
So basically, in our concept, what we offer to the community is this: the idea that if we are actually striving to be pure, then we'll raise our level of consciousness. Right. And what does it mean to raise your level of consciousness? It simply means that you become a master over your life.
Right.
So many people are dragged here and there willy-nilly. They're at the whim and mercy of all the things that are happening around them. Right. We want to be in charge.
Right.
And you'd be surprised to see the difference it makes in terms of how you think, how you create, how you function when you subscribe or ascribe to the kind of philosophy that I'm talking about here.
Yes,
Okay.
Mustafa has a question.
Now, there's one good one I wanted to ask you. Like, holistically speaking, a lot of people get the term vegan and vegetarian confused.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Give the true definition of vegan.
Well, the word vegan, I have a very good friend down in Washington, D.C., Dr. Sonyata Amen.
Shout out to the Dr. Sonya.
who insists that she will not call herself a vegan, even though she practices what we call veganism. She says vegetarian is vegetarian. Vegetarian simply means consuming plant products. Right. The thing is, over the years, all kinds of concepts have evolved around vegetarianism. Some people talk about being over vegetarians, meaning that they eat a little egg alongside their,
right. Or drink milk or something.
Some people are lacto-vegetarian. They eat a little fish. Some people eat a little bit of fish, that kind of stuff. Some people even eat chicken. Some people call themselves, poultry vegetarians. So because of that, the vegan community has evolved and insists that we need a word that says we're strictly plants.
Right.
And that's why the word vegan has been developed. But really and truly, Dr. Amen is correct. Indeed, a vegetarian is a vegetarian. A vegetarian should be a person who consumes plant products only. The fact that people add other stuff to their diet means that they do not qualify.
Right.
But vegan, the word vegan is used to make that distinction.
And I thought that was the difference. I thought that the vegetarians, they ate plant first, but they ate some dairy, or they would eat animal products like dairy, eggs, milk, whereas with a vegan, they ate no meat whatsoever, no products of
Well,
of
it's the same is true for vegetarians. Vegetarians are really people who do not eat meat. For many years ago, 20 years ago, the word vegan wasn't around, or 25 years ago. It's a new word, just a word coined just to identify a group of people.
Like a neo definition, what they would say now. They always
Right.
get these new words, these new
Right.
terminologies, fancy. In 2011, all kind of creative words is expanded in the dictionary.
That's exactly
what
what's happened. Yeah.
So let's go back to your distribution. Now, you not only sell the tonics and the herbs, you also have grocery products.
Absolutely, yes.
You have a small grocery at your store.
And indeed, our store has been a vegan store as well. We have kind of insisted on keeping a vegan grocery service. But the truth of the matter is that we're finding that it's not a very viable kind of system. So, we do hot meals, we do have prepared meals in our store.
Right.
So what we're moving to maintaining our vegan standard cuisine, but I think in the near future we're going to be expanding our grocery service to what is known as vegetarian.
Really?
Yes, because what it is, the industry is now describing vegetarian products as products that contain some eggs,
Right.
some milk, a little this, a little that, But what it is, we have a consumer base that uses all of this stuff.
Okay.
The market for strict vegan is just small, and indeed what's happening is that the amount of products that are available for a vegan store are narrowing. So if you come to our store, you'll notice that we have a lot of shelf space that's not filled.
Right.
Yes.
So for those of you who are wondering, the store is in the Bronx, like I said, 3565 Boston Road, 3565C Boston Road.
Right at the
Don't
corner.
blink, because it's right at the corner.
Corner of Tiemann Avenue,
And
yeah.
yes, at the corner of Boston Road and Tiemann. Do not blink, because if you blink,
could catch
you
me
might
going to
miss
get
it.
porridge every
Yeah, exactly. Kevin Stoffer goes in to get his porridge.
You catch me going
Do
to
not
get
blink,
porridge.
because if you drive too fast, you will miss it. And it looks like a very small store from the outside,
Yeah.
but it's a large business inside. So you have to go, have a taste. I have to go in there because, I'm a sinner. I'm a meat eater. I love the meat. I love the flesh. But like I said, because I'm trying to drop this last
That
17
does not
pounds.
make you a sinner.
Well, I'm saying a sinner as in,
No,
in
no,
your world,
absolutely.
I'm not a vegan.
Absolutely, and we need to clarify this for our community too. We need to clarify for the community. It's not like we're saying that because you eat meat or anything else.
Right.
What it is that each individual, depending on the level of consciousness that we have evolved to,
Right.
will determine what he or she chooses to eat and how he or she chooses to live.
Right.
What we're hoping is that we can show people a better way to live a more happy, harmonious, and disease-free life.
Right.
The big question is this: can a meat eater live a disease-free life?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Certain meats have proteins and iron.
It's not about what's inside of the meat.
It's how much you eat.
I like to tell people that when you are choosing your diet has to be spiritually contrived.
Okay.
It's a function of where an individual desire to take his life and himself and his or her consciousness. If you're not concerned about rising to higher degrees of consciousness,
Right.
if all you want to do is to be well, then you don't need to be a vegan.
Right.
I simply suggest to you that practice internal hygiene.
Right.
Make sure that you're cleansing your body community regularly, and to the degree that you can, avoid the chemicals, avoid the artificial substances and stuff like that. Listen, I grew up in a community where people have been eating animals all their lives.
Right.
They just never ate a lot of it.
Right.
And I see people living to 115, 120, their memory intact, their body
Beautiful.
straight
Wow.
as a stick, they're
Beautiful.
strong as elephants,
Right.
they're functioning very well.
And then
So,
the leaders.
and I also know people who are vegetarians who die by the time they're 50 or 60 years old. So,
Right.
you see, longevity is about the quality of our lives at any given time.
Right.
Yes,
Hey,
yeah.
So now-
I'm a vegan. I think I'm very healthy.
Right.
But I could just go outside today and get hit by a car.
Right.
Right.
It's already written somewhere.
You understand what I'm saying?
But it's
So
what you do with your time here.
precisely, it's about how we see ourselves functioning on this planet, and what is it we're gonna make of our life. What is it our life is going to mean to the world, and what the world means to us. So that's what diet is about. And so I don't pressure people to be vegan, although I do encourage them to come to Vegan's Light every now and again and get a little taste of.
I'm
vegan
heading
food.
over there. No, you know how many
Even
times
if
I've
they
passed
can't,
it?
They could
and I said, I
combine
want to go in there.
at least combine it. Like
absolutely.
I find that I be transforming into that. Sometimes I could go weeks without eating, chicken. I eat a lot of chicken, fish and stuff like that. But sometimes I could go weeks without eating any meats at all. And then there's that one time that I might go out and say, okay, let me have a salmon or whatever like that. But I find that if you balance things, if you are like that, then learn to make the balance.
Indeed.
I had a doctor who's he's a regular correspondent on my show, Dr. Pasqua. He does chiropractic medicine. every day I go to his office, he has a big bowl of raw leafy foods. And he said, Ken, you think I like to eat vegetables all the time? He says, no, I do it because this way, by the time the weekend come, and I don't go out much, but I would like to go out with my wife, and when I do, then I enjoy myself. I have a steak, or I have, you know, some fish or something like that. But he said, I build up all week, or sometimes 2 weeks for it.
Right.
You know, so so I'm just saying that some people who can't even be dedicated can still kind of balance out. That's my definition, my interpretation of what you were saying. Like you can still live to be healthy.
Yeah, the bottom line is this. I'll tell anybody this. Don't live a life of drudgery and self-suffering. You know, enjoy yourself. If you like to eat chicken, eat it.
Right.
You know, enjoy it. You know. But all I say to you, because we know about some of the negative effects, like for example, if you eat a lot of chicken, you'll end up with arthritis. I can tell you that straight up.
Wow.
If you eat a lot of chicken, gentlemen, you're going to end up with prostate problems. I can tell you that. So, and I'm talking about even free-range chicken.
Right.
Okay? Because as a microcosmic science, we study foods according to their elemental balance. You know, and chicken tends to put a lot of fire energy into the reproductive system. You see what I'm saying? So these are the reasons why these problems will develop. So in everything, practice moderation.
Nice. Now, I don't eat pork, but like I said, I am a meat eater. I love the flesh. But I do find that as I'm getting older, and like I said, as I'm trying to drop this last 17 pounds, I'm finding that I'm trying to pull away from the meat because, for instance, I can have a steak. I'll use steak as an example. It could move. You could put it on my plate, and if I cut it and it moves, then I'm happy. If you put it on my plate and it's well done, I'm happy. I can eat it blood running off the plate or well done. So a person like me who grew up with meat in her diet, who wants to experiment with pulling back from the meat, but does not want to sacrifice the taste, what kind of products do you encourage or do you sell that I can say, all right, you know, pork is not an issue. I don't eat pork anyway, but I want the consistency of steak, the taste of the steak, that filler, and that taste, because I'm not ready to pull all the way back yet. I want to do it gradually.
Yes, and of course, what we have in the vegetarian industry or the vegan industry is what they call TVPs or TSPs.
Okay.
And that means texturized soy proteins or texturized vegetable proteins. And these proteins are texturized because it's interesting that it's the texture in foods that really give them the feel of beef or pork or chicken, whatever it is. It's not so much the taste, you know. So they have texturized vegetables and created products that people can use to satisfy that mental need to have, you know, so-called meat on their plate. And if you come to the health food store, you'll find a lot of things. Like, for example, we have a thing called a veggie spare rib.
Really?
That meat eaters are in love with.
This is why I have to get over there.
I tried it too.
I don't know if Kenny ever had it.
But you know, not everybody makes it like you do. I mean, you have a wonderful chef there, big shout out to Milton. He's like a master chef. Always greet people with a smile and everything. So big shout out to Milton and your staff. But you know, the veggie spare ribs, I see he takes a lot of preparation to them. You know what I mean?
We prepare it in a particular manner, to get the feeling. Because what it is, I remember one night we're doing a preparation for an event. There's an alumni association that was keeping an event, so they asked us for some food. So we said, okay, we'll do veggie spare rib for them because we're trying to find something that, you know, the crowd would appreciate. We did a veggie spare rib. Some of the guys came over to pick the food up to take it over. So while they came over, we were dishing it out, and we gave them little samples of it. And they started chowing down on it, and they're like, wow, this thing tastes real, like the real thing. You know?
That's one of those proteins.
I'm telling you, yes.
That's what I need.
Yeah.
That's what I need.
They went wild, and then they told me at the session tonight that the people just ate the thing up. For example, we have a veggie fish substitute that we do. And one night we delivered some to an event. So I was at the event tonight, and I was kind of observing what was going on. The host of the session one of the guests walked up to the host and said, you know, I've never had kingfish like this before. This is the greatest kingfish I've had in all my life. He didn't know he was eating a vegetarian fish.
Wow. See, this will have to get over there. I mean, I can cook. Do I like to take the time to cook? And apparently this way of life really means that you have to settle down, be prepared to take time out of your day to prepare and cook. Where I've gotten accustomed to the, salt, pepper, adobo, throw it in the oven, let it go, boil some brown rice, steam a vegetable, and keep it going. So this is obviously going to be a whole lifestyle change, even though it will be gradual for me.
And I tell you this, you see, preparing a meal is a very important social practice, and it's also a very important health practice. Two things, I'll tell you. One, when you prepare your meal, you're actually integrating your essence into yourself.
Right.
Yes. When you tend to eat food that other people prepare for you, especially people outside of your immediate family, what you're doing is that you're actually separating yourself from your essence. You're not as whole a person as you are as when you prepare your own food. And there's something I like to say to parents from time to time, and this is this, that whoever feeds your children owns them.
Really?
Your children will hold their allegiance to the hand that feeds them.
Right.
So if it's McDonald's, Burger King, or Wendy's, yes. When children learn to eat their parents' food, it's a bond that's built there. That's you just can't.
We don't have that anymore.
It's absolutely valuable. People should, if people knew this, they would probably cook more for their children.
Right.
Because what it is, people think that it's convenient just to run out, get something, give the children. But what you're doing, you're actually separating yourself from your family.
So speaking with children, do you sell baby products?
Absolutely, yes. We have products for children, for babies. Yes.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, even for infants, you have baby feeds. We have we basically cover a full range of foods and
See, I like
nutrition
to be cooked
for the
for.
family.
I'm gonna fall in love with the cook because I like to be cooked for. Do I like to cook? Yes, but like with most people who work, who have outside hobbies and activities, I am not one of the essence who have the time to do that. So yes, I'm gonna be into Vegan's Delight.
Cooking is a very simple thing, You see what it is as vegans, as a food therapeutic counselor. You see what it is. We tend to think of food as a very complex. We think of meals as being a very complex preparation process. Foods can be very simple. So, for example, think about this. How would you like to have just a baked potato for dinner?
See, and I'm happy with that. This is why these type of changes for myself. I had a love affair with food. I love a good plate. Does it have to include meat? No, it does not.
Precisely.
But I'm not a person who absolutely loves to cook. It's something that I do out of necessity. But would I love to have someone cook for me and put a good plate for me as long as I like it? I wouldn't care if it's tofu. Don't tell me what it is. Let me taste it first. And if it's good, I'll eat it.
Enjoy it.
Absolutely. At your restaurant, you have, I saw a couple of the things on the menu, jerk tofu. Now, I go into the supermarket, any given supermarket that sells tofu and soy and those type of products. And you know what I do? I look at it and I go, oh, I don't even know what to do with that.
Right.
And I can't imagine cutting it up, throwing it in a pan with some canola oil or peanut oil and beans, and I just don't know what to do with it. So
and that's why we do some workshops at Vegans Light too. We do food preparation workshops. We do talk about foods, so that, for example, even a thing like tofu, we show people how to prepare tofu, because once you understand what tofu is.
I was going to ask you, what exactly is tofu?
Tofu is basically what they call the curd, bean curd, soybean curds.
Okay.
And, they use something called nigari to make, let's say you take soy milk, to curdle it.
Okay.
Yeah, and and they have a settling process by which it becomes, they can get various textures of firmness,
okay.
Depending on how it's done. But we end up with some blocks of soy that we can scramble. We can crush it and scramble it like scrambled eggs.
Really?
Yeah. You can cube it up and make. You can make a fricassee. You can make a stew. You can make, like we say, jerk. You can do a barbecue. You can do anything you do with other stuff. The key to tofu is that tofu works very well with soy sauce. They are almost like,
Really?
twins. So what you want to do is to make sure that the tofu is infused with the flavors that you desire. Because tofu, for some people when they cook soy or tofu, the flavors on the outside and the inside is bland.
Right.
So when you bite into it, it's not juicy and flavorful. You just get this taste on the outside, and you get this bland feeling inside your mouth. So that's not really enjoyable.
I haven't taken leap because when I see tofu, I think feta cheese.
Yes, right.
And
so
I just haven't.
Right.
This is
so
good.
once you learn to season that thing and marinate it, and then you have a very delicious thing.
This is great. This
And
is another reason for me to get to the restaurant.
In fact, when you talk about tofu, tofu is very popular because it's versatile.
Right.
Yeah, very versatile in terms of preparing stuff. There's so many things to do. Like, for example, have you seen the veggie cheesecakes that we do?
No,
Yeah.
I'm coming. You know what? I told you.
Yeah.
I work locally.
Yeah.
So every time I'm like, okay, I have to get in here. I have to get in here. Because I keep seeing it, and I've been seeing it for a long time. And I said, I haven't been in here yet. I love to eat. I love to eat, and I love to eat good food. Like I said, meat, not meat, doesn't make a difference. I'm a person who loves to eat. I love food. I love a good plate. And I keep saying when I get in there. Now, because I know that not only is the restaurant there, but I know I can go in there, get a good plate, get the products I need, because I hate to ride around looking for what I need. But now I can go there, get the products I need, get a food, and get someone to teach me what to do with it, because I have not been able to figure this out.
Well, I'm going to take this moment to offer a very special invitation so you can come and have dinner with me one day at Vegan Delight.
Thank you.
And then, of course, I also want to invite you to one of our workshops when we're doing food preparation.
Absolutely.
I'll definitely invite you so you can come on over and see.
What nights of food preparation? Because if I can't be the only one that has decided.
No, absolutely.
Let the viewers know when food workshops are, days, hours, because I'm not the only one in the world who says, you know what, I'm going to cut back on the meat, but that brick of white tofu, I don't know what to do with it.
And it's not
Tell
just.
them when.
Well, no, we don't have a date at this point in time.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but as soon as we have one, I can let you know. You can let your audience
And
know
I will let them know.
Yeah, sure. And as well, it's not just tofu. There are other what we call TVPs, the veggie fish, the veggie sausages, the veggie bolognas, the veggie, just about veggie everything, veggie turkey, they call it tofurkey,
right?
All that kind of stuff, the veggie chicken, the drumsticks, so many things that you have in vegetarian style that, we just need to learn how to put them together nicely.
And I thought I was doing something with the bulk of veggie patties. I thought I was doing something with that.
Oh, what kind of
eat it every day? Eat the porridge.
I don't eat it every day. But I thought I was doing some great big thing. You know what? This is my other problem. I don't like a lot of vegetables. There are vegetables that I like and I will eat a lot of. And every time I see a picture of a vegan plate, it's got tons of beans. I don't eat peas. I don't eat lima beans. I don't eat black-eyed peas. So I guess at the workshop, I can learn how to substitute those fillers, those proteins and fillers.
But I tell you what's even more important. You see, because foods are medicine, especially when we know what foods are.
Right.
If you're eating food just because you say, okay, I like this bean, I like the flavor, I like the taste, that's one thing. But I'll tell you this, when you know what food does for your body, it makes a very big difference. So that, for example, if you know that chickpeas is a great peas for any kind of stomachic ailments that you have, for people who suffer from cancer, that's the peas to take. In terms of brain health, that chickpeas is a very wonderful peas. If you know it's a good pea, it's a good bean to support your nervous system. If you know that, then you begin to approach that bean a little bit differently.
Chickpeas, I have tasted. I'll pick at them here and there because I have a girlfriend who used to work with me, who's Jamaican, and she puts them in her salad. And I love spinach salad. She says, taste this. And honestly, because she knows I'm a finicky eater, I like to eat a lot, but I'm funny about what I eat. I thought it was a peanut, honestly. She says, taste this. And I thought it was a small variety of peanut, and I ate it and loved it. She says, that's a pea you just ate.
Yes.
Wow.
That's how I began to like chickpeas.
And you know, so once you start to know why we eat foods, you know, for example, you know, listen, every plant that's on the planet has a medicinal benefit.
Right.
You need to know that. So when you put your meals together, that's the purpose of eating. You should select your foods according to what is it, the effect you want it to have on your body.
So when I come to the workshop, I can come with my list that says, while I'm working on my internal health, I want to get rid of the belly fat. You know, there's some other fat I like to keep. My husband happens to like it, so we're not going to lose it. But I particularly want to target the rest of the belly fat. I want what's going to be good for my hair. So I cut my hair recently. Nails and skin. I'm still kind of on the young side, so my brain function is still well.
You want to make sure it
but
stays
I want
well.
I want it to stay that
all
way.
the way till you're...
Yeah, I'm still on the vain side of life a little bit, but I do want to maintain, brain.
No, it's absolutely
and
important.
eyes.
Vanity is very important.
Is
Your vanity is very important. It's very important you pay attention to vanity, because that's what all of us want to do. We want to look good. We want to feel good. We want to feel youthful. You know, there's no reason for us to, you know, there's so many youngsters who, I've heard youngsters saying that they don't want to live to age 65 or 60.
That's horrible.
Yes, and the reason why they're saying that, because when they look around and see the elders in the community, they see them on walkers.
They see the wrong elders.
They see them precisely.
My grandmother is 94. She does not walk with a cane. She's just now at 94 years old starting to get forgetful here and there. Catches it back in 5-10 seconds. But it took her to 94.
There we go.
So they're seeing the wrong elders.
There we go. So you see, that's what I'm trying to say, is that we need to understand that if we eat right and if we take care of ourselves, we pay attention to ourselves, we can live to nice old age with all our faculties intact. With all, you know, because remember, there are a lot of people who think that 90 years old is old. Remember, we're supposed to live 200-300 years old.
Wow.
It's only because of our poor lifestyle practices why we're dying off so early.
Wow. On that note, I think we have video that DJ Ken Mustafa took with you at the store. Do we have that available to go so we can?
Yeah, it's like a day in the life of him running around, you know, on what life would be like running an enterprise such as like yours. I mean, I was fascinated by what I learned, you know, in the in-depth knowledge of, you know, of what you study and the whole nutritional encouragement. You know, it virtually was portrayed on one wall to me. When I saw that, I was just amazed. And I actually had that video footage, you know, and when we come back, I'm also going to ask you about, you know, certain questions about food, like, you know, what would combine to enhance certain foods and stuff like that. Like you said, chickpeas, but if you combine it with another ingredient, such as like, let's say, with leafy food, like such as like callaloo, will it enhance the actual ingredient, you know, to, you know, target, like kind of target things like that. But we'll save that for after I come back, you know, after we come back, because I want to show this footage, because I was telling Gabie I was so impressed with it. I got to show it. I got it edited right here. Yeah. And we're going to go to that footage real quick, all right? So I'm going to tell my audience right now to take just a quick minute break. Check out the footage. I'm quite sure you'll find it real interesting of what's going on. And this is the day in the life of Brother Junior Juwara.
At Vegan's Delight Restaurant.
At Vegan's Delight Restaurant. Boston Road in the Bronx.
Well, just speak loud for me, Joe. All right.
That guy's our head chef, right? Yeah. Of course, this is what he does.
He makes some good stuff. What is he making today?
Yeah. But what are you calling him, Nathan?
Master vegetarian chef. Master vegan chef. Let me get that right, because there is a difference between vegan and vegetarian.
A big difference. And then, of course, I mean, our front man, Trey.
Ready for my close up, Mr. David?
You know, they do customer service, make sure that everybody's happy. And you have Henry. They call him Perfect.
Yeah, you know. So what are some of the main products you promote?
Well, you know, we promote mainly our line of products, which are internal cleansers, Healthy is Mountain Landis Will Tonic or Dr. Bird Bitters and our Herbal 555 because we believe in purifying the body community. We believe in doing it on a daily basis. So that's why we emphasize cleansing. But of course, you know, food is important. Everybody likes to eat. But what we want to do is to help our community to learn to eat better. So that's why we actually practice veganism, and that's why we share it with our community through this facility.
Yes.
Vegans are right here.
There's a variety of products that are out there in the main front.
Yeah, you can go and take a look at it.
This is a very big restaurant with all kind of assortments of food and.
So over here we have our whole grains, our nuts. So we have rice, quinoa, cornmeal, stone ground cornmeal. We have red quinoa, amaranth, bulgur, various kinds of wheat, rolled oats, steel cut oats. You know, just some, quinoa, millet. Just to mention a few of the grains that we offer, as well as a variety of rices from basmati to all kinds of short grain, medium grain, organic. All these grains are organic. It's important to know.
Now, people don't know the definition of organic. I know a lot of times organic, you know, they say organic, but they don't really know the true meaning of it. You know, in your best description, organic is food that is free of chemicals, free of artificial additives, pesticides, free of any kind of sprays, any kind of preservatives. Organic is just the way nature made it. Nothing added or taken away. Wow.
That's organic.
Yes, sir. Well, I mean, beautiful. This is a beautiful segment of the store. You can see is a lot of good ingredients and everything in here that'll keep a person nice and strong, as opposed to general medicines that a lot of these people be offering all the time.
One thing that you don't see here that I want to show our audience, because over by the frozen food section, you might want to focus on some of the meat substitutes. These are vegan meat substitutes. People understand that because we do not consume animals, people think that we eat like rabbits and goats and horses and cows, but we actually create very exciting, very palatable and very delightful and delectable meals from vegetarian meat substitutes. For those people who are not ready to let go of the meat in their dish or the protein on their plate, this is where they can come to that kind of food.
Well, I tell you, man, I thank you for your time. We can't wait to get you on the Miss Gabie show because we got a lot of good questions, a lot of very educational questions. And, you know, Miss Gabie told me to tell you hi. I was on the phone, but she's at work right now. So when you get on the show, she's going to give you a warm embrace because we embrace what you do, sir.
Absolutely.
You're like a doctor in our own community.
Thank you very much.
Saving lives.
Come let me show you. The herbs.
And you know, now this is, I guess, you have to be real privileged to be up in this part because this is the secret garden right here.
Yeah. These are the healers from Mother Nature's medicine chest right here. You know, so we have a wide variety of raw herbs, fresh herbs, bulk herbs, organic herbs. You know, hundreds of herbs that we use to make various kinds of formulas for people who have individual ailments, who need to address particular conditions. You know, because they said that one man's medicine is another man's poison. So when you go to the store and you simply pick up some kind of stuff that everybody else is using, you might get a decent result. But when you're able to create a herbal compound that is precisely blended for an individual, that's where the difference comes in. And this is where we're able to do it based on a little collection of herbs here.
This shouldn't really be called the secrets of nature, but you know, a lot of people, a lot of manufacturers do not want you to know, you know, stuff like this because they want you to buy their product and they want to make the product as simple as they can without using all the naturals and the gifts of nature that it is.
We call it Mother Nature's medicine chest. So this is our herbal section here.
Wow, I mean, the knowledge of what you had. How long did it take you? How many years have you been acquiring this knowledge?
Well, I've been doing it since about 1976. So.
That's older than my daughter. Most people, like I said, who master this craft, they have at least 25, 30 years in the business of studying. But your in depth goes well.
Over 30 odd years.
I guess we could go all day asking you questions on this, but we trying to save the best of questions for the Miss Gabie show, because I got a bunch of questions I can ask you.
I'm looking forward to that.
But we thank you for the footage, and we can't wait to have you on Miss Gabie show. It's going to be real good. All right?
My pleasure, Brother Kenny.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Well, just speak loud for me, Jim. All right?
Well done. That guy's our head chef, right? Yeah.
Nice. That was great footage.
Most inspirational, wasn't it? What I mean?
That is great footage.
Felt so good going up in there, man. Just looking at all that stuff just cleansed the mind. You know what I mean? So
it's so much to learn, though. It's so much to learn. As the brother said, he amassed all of that knowledge over 25, 30 years. Now, is this something that you actually went to school for, or was it just based on your lifestyle and your beliefs?
Well, it's confluence of different events. One, I think the most significant thing in terms of turning me in this direction was my mother's illness. My mother suffered from lung cancer. I think she had cancer of the womb that metastasized to her lung.
Okay.
And she died at a pretty young age. I decided that my mother's passing would be, it would not just be for nothing. I decided that I had to use that as something to guide my future, because what it is, I actually embarked on a pilgrimage to find some kind of solution to my mother's problem, because I realized that chemo wasn't working.
Right.
Unfortunately, she departed before I found the thing. Of course, I found a naturopathic doctor who introduced me to the philosophy of using herbal products. We were already familiar with herbs, but we never took it as seriously as I'm taking it now.
And is that doctor you found, is that different than like a holistic practitioner?
Well, you can call him a holistic practitioner, but he was a person who introduced me to veganism, to abstaining from all animal products in my diet. He also taught me the spiritual aspects of diet and of life. So he was my spiritual teacher. He taught me herbs, he taught me nutrition, he taught me food therapeutics and microcosmic science.
Nice. Is he here in the States? Because you, bless. Is he in the States? Because were you raised in Jamaica or you were raised here?
I was raised in Jamaica, but at this point in time, I've spent more of my years in the States than in Jamaica. I came here when I was about 22 years old. Yeah.
Okay, so the doctor that you speak of, was he in Jamaica or was he here?
He was a Jamaican who was living here.
Okay.
Yeah. So he had gone through that kind of experience as well, where he came into this information. He became a master at what he did. So I had the privilege of sitting at his at his feet and learning from him,
Beautiful. Now, so what did you learn? Maybe a day too late, that you think would have either cured your mother of her cancer, or would have at least slowed the process?
Well, let me tell you about healing. What I discovered about healing. There are a lot of people who call themselves healers, and a lot of people who take credit for curing diseases. Really and truly, I can't cure your disease.
Okay.
You have to
do it yourself.
Do it yourself. So it's not like I can say, you have this disease and I'm going to cure it. Right. You have to open yourself up and be willing and ready to do what has to be done to address an ailment. So if my mother was in that situation, then probably she could have been helped. But obviously I learned, the most important thing I learned was the damaging effects of drugs.
Right.
You see, we're putting chemicals in our body community. They are inorganic to our body community. What it means is that our body community cannot find any kind of compatibility or harmony with drugs. So your body community is always trying to reject it. When you overwhelm your body community with drugs and artificial and synthetic substances, they actually overwhelm your immune system.
Hence the warnings with most drugs that say, okay, this drug is going to cure your diabetes, but you may get nausea, dizziness, liver cancer, colon cancer, loss of memory. So you cured one thing,
you might even die.
Suffer death. Right? It's amazing. It's amazing.
And at the end of it, it'll say, and if these symptoms seem to occur, then
or
call
worse,
your
then
doctor.
call your doctor.
So he's going to give you more
drugs, right? To counteract what he's already given you. So so with the drugs, like I said, you said yourself, you might be curing one thing, but then you might be bringing on 5 or 6 other things that you did not have, which will not happen with herbs.
Absolutely, and that is why it's so important for people to know that we have 2 important faculties that make us different from the lower animals, and they're freedom of choice and consciousness. So what we choose to do, what we choose to eat, how we choose to live, how we choose to speak, these are things that are determining what's going to happen to you.
Right.
And from moment to moment, every choice we make has a consequence.
Absolutely.
You see, so that's what we need to pay attention to. We need to begin to learn the consequences of our choices. I say to people, because very often we'll talk to people and we'll say, you need to change this or this about your life. Right. And they'll tell me this. They'll say, hey, listen, you have to die from something, or, and I'll say to people like that, I'll say, listen, but when you're dying, do not complain.
Right.
Yes. Do not now tell me that, why am I suffering from this? Why?
Right.
No, don't complain. Just accept the consequence with dignity.
Oof, I couldn't even come back from that. We probably should have held on to that piece of wisdom for the end of the show, because it just stopped me in my tracks, because it's so true.
It's true.
Truly.
Isn't it, right?
Yeah, it's powerful. The only issue, going back to the whole vegan thing now, you admit that there are some properties that come along with, let's say, fish.
Yes, somewhat.
Properties, some good properties that come along with
yes.
fish.
Mm-hmm.
So then why does a vegan rule out fish or small portions of chicken altogether?
As I said earlier, your dietary choices or dietary choice is a function of where you want to go spiritually.
Okay.
I choose not to contaminate my spirit with the energy of the lower animals.
Okay.
As a human being, I know that I am created on a higher mode, a higher level of consciousness. So every time I ingest animal's blood, it's diluting my blood and then bringing me down to an animal standard.
Gotcha.
So because of that, I insist on that kind of purity. And that's why I said earlier that what we choose to eat is a function of where we want to go in life. If we do not care about our consciousness, if we just want to be happy and have fun, and we just want to enjoy our sojourn here on earth, then just go ahead and do what you do.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what it is. It's not that we are negating anything. The human beings have been eating animals for quite a while, and they do pretty well consuming animals' flesh. But if you're desirous, and if you understand even afterlife and new incarnations, if you're preparing yourself for those kinds of eventualities, then that's why you make the kind of decisions that I make.
Understood.
Yes.
Understood.
Yeah, we're taking it to a higher level. Yeah.
Beautiful. Now, let me ask you this, because do you actually have something in the works as maybe a book, a series of videos? Because all of this wisdom has to be put to good use outside of the store.
Absolutely, and that's why we do the workshop series of Vegans Light. It's part of that process. We're actually doing some things, documenting some things on film. Doing some things with video and audio, and of course, like you said, in the written form as well.
Nice. Any target date or?
No target date. In fact, one of the thoughts that came to me just recently is this: we live such a busy life that we find very little time to sit and write. So we write, every day we're doing a little bit of writing, collections, that kind of stuff. It seems to me that perhaps that's what retirement is about.
Right.
It's a time to put.
You're a businessman. You can't retire. you're
at some point in time, we'll be able to withdraw ourselves from all the worldly affairs and just sit down and put pen to paper, commit our thoughts to paper,
that's
and our experiences to paper.
That's why we have video now, so that you don't have to put pen to paper immediately.
You got voice recognition and everything. You can talk.
Yeah. I have it. Dragon speaking. You talk right into the mic, and it
writes.
Yeah, you train it. It's a product you can speak into the mic, and it types into your computer. You train it to hear your voice.
Absolutely. Well,
and there's very few corrections to go back and make.
Yeah.
But with the advent of internet video like this,
well, that's what I need to do.
You don't have the time to sit down and write or read.
With the help of Kenny,
This is it.
That's what
Thank
we've
you,
been
Mr.
doing.
Juwara.
This is it.
Yeah.
I've had a question.
You know what? I have one thing, right? I remember we was just talking earlier, and you was telling me when you first started in this business, we were sitting there back there sharing thoughts in the back studio, and you shared an experience to me. You smiled at me. You said, when you came in here and you saw how I had it set up, like you said, you smiled at me. You said, when I first started out, I started just like this, man.
Yeah, that's how I started
small.
my business. Yes, in my living room. Yeah, I turned I turned the lower floor in my apartment into a factory. Boiling room, office, warehouse. We were stacked.
Really?
Yes. It's a kind of sacrifice we make, because you see what it is. Most black people, or people who don't have a lot of resources, think that in order to start a business you have to go to a bank with a business plan and all that kind of stuff. But we know that doesn't work for us.
Right.
Very few of us can actually use that system to get started.
Even when we established too,
Yeah. So basically, I call it building business on a shoestring. So basically what I had was my apartment. So I figured, if I can put a little candy stove there, I can fireproof the place and all that kind of stuff, I can get started. And that's what I did. And it worked out all right.
No, it worked out more than all right. Because
Yeah.
we're not going to get too deep in your business. But as Miss Gabie does her homework, Healthy Endeavors grosses, 1 to 2.5 million per year. Thank God for local businesses, people.
But that's the thing that I'm saying. Like, from you to start that small to now being at the pinnacle of your career, doing what you do, I mean, is there anything that you would have done different? Like, than, to get to that mountaintop that you traveled a long road. And a wise man once said, every step that you take is a step towards your destiny.
When we set out to do business in this manner, let me tell you this to begin with. I'm not a passionate businessman.
Really?
Business is not really my calling. I did business to demonstrate to some of my peers and colleagues that it can be done.
Wow.
Because when I've made suggestion to people that's what we need to do, they say, oh no, that cannot be done. So I said, okay, let me do it and show
you made a believer out of it.
And we didn't just do it for our company. We've done it for other people as well, who are very, very successful as well. We have done the same thing. So we've done it more than once. Okay, and basically we're talking about using pennies to build a business. So, for example, I remember when we did our first expo, we ended up at a point where we had no money in our pocket. I had employees to pay and all that kind of stuff. And there was a Kwanzaa expo coming in Jacob Javits Center. Mm-hmm. And I remember producing our first batch of Woodroot tonic.
Right.
And, we had to go around and beg people different things. We had to beg the bottle supplier to give us the bottle on consignment, to do the labels for us, and we pay you next month and that kind of stuff. And
I love this part.
So much so that when we got to Jacob Javits, when we took the products there, they weren't even labeled.
Wow.
They were labelless. So what we had were the flyers. We were able to get the flyers, and we went into that place and we used the flyers and sold these label-less product. And we exited that place with some money in our pocket to pay some rent and to get this to keep going.
Blessings to the people that believe.
Yeah. So basically, you have to believe, and of course, especially our young people who have the energy, the drive, the desire. Trust me, there's so much that we can achieve if we're willing to step outside of the box.
Do you do business seminars also? Okay, so we've got it down to that you do cooking seminars, which I'm going to come for so I can figure this whole thing out or be taught how to figure it out. So having helped other businesses achieve their success, does that mean that you are doing or about to do outreach in the community to teach young people how to start their business or achieve that level of success also?
I tell you this, I've not really done it formally. I've not offered myself as a consultant per se.
Okay.
But I am open to assisting anybody I can. There are people who start businesses, who are involved in businesses, who come to me and ask me about things that I can offer in terms of helping them to do business. And I've been able to give them some of the very experiences that I've had and pointers that can help it, because you see, these are not necessarily things we want to talk about.
Right.
Of course. But there are unconventional way to achieve our objectives.
Right.
You see, and that's the key. Because people. One of my neighbors told me once that circumstances alter cases. So if your circumstances are not perfect, then you need to use an imperfect.
Absolutely, I agree.
To fulfill your objective, and that's just how it is.
But you see, that's the thing I was talking about, because my experience as far as like just doing this entertainment show, I find that at one point that I was finding people not believing in my capabilities of being able to produce shows. They didn't even believe in Miss Gabie and our staff, on being able to carry the weight. We was actually up close, innocently ridiculed, but it was like, he said, Ma, you remember? He said, Ma, why you?
And you know what you have to do, Kenny? You have to become impervious to criticism.
Right.
You just have to know what you're doing, and in spite of what anybody is saying or doing,
want to do
you
it.
gotta believe.
You just go straight ahead.
Yeah,
that's
right.
it.
You have to believe.
Speaking of shows, because we love the Miss Gabie show. We love Miss Gabie, and everybody loves the Miss Gabie show. You have your own radio program also that we're going to tell people to tune into called Health is Here on WRTN. Is this correct?
WVIP.
I had WVIP. You see that right there? This is my notes, people. I had WVIP, and then following the lead of my DJ Kev Mustafa, he had WRTM.
But that's what it said.
He's following the brochure.
I found WVIP.
I'm sorry,
the brochure is outdated.
In my homework, I found WVIP.
See, I wasn't informed now.
That's Miss Gabie homework. You see, that's the trust that we have in the family.
The station used to be WRT, and the name just changed recently
to WVIP. I like WVIP better.
Yeah, it's the same numbers.
93.5.
93.5, yeah.
Is it AM, FM? AM. FM? Okay, so it's WVIP 93.5 on the FM dial, and the radio program is called Health is Here. Saturdays, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Okay? It's a live broadcast.
Live broadcast.
You broadcast out? Do you broadcast out of New Rochelle, or do you broadcast out of the store?
New Rochelle.
Okay. So that's up there where WVOX and all of those stations are at. All right. So you broadcast. It's a live show on Saturdays, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. You take callers and questions.
Yes, we do.
See, this is where you need to be on Saturday mornings. Bless. It's okay. So Saturday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. And the store is open on Saturdays, too. So he heads over to the store. The store opens up at 8:30.
Store's open Mondays to Saturdays, 7:30 a.m. till 7 p.m.
7:30.
Closed on Sundays.
We got to fix some stuff on the web, because I think the web shows 8:30 to 6:30. We might be losing some business that hour. People are going back and forth to work, head out to work, to the train station. They need to get there.
AM you're talking about, or?
Yeah. I think when I found a store, I think it said 8:30. You're losing an hour's worth of business. People are going to work.
No, we open at 7:30.
No, I know, but when I searched on the web, somewhere had the store hours is 8:30, 6:30. So we need to find that. I'm going to find it.
What it is, we have changed the hours. So somewhere they might have some information, outdated information.
So, okay, so up-to-date information is WVIP 93.5 on the FM dial, Saturdays 6 a.m.
Sundays 7 to 8.
Okay. And
of
we close
course,
at 6:30.
And of course, we also do
Or
a
so.
program called the Meeting of the African Village Square too. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about that. Tell them because I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
So let's tell them.
Yeah, the Meeting of the African Village Square is a program we do Saturday night. So like tonight, midnight till 3.
Okay.
We do what is called the Meeting of the African Village Square. And of course, a very special program, especially since we're celebrating African History Month or Black History Month.
Yes, indeed.
And tonight we have a very special guest. Early this morning we had a very special guest. And tonight we're going to have her sister. And I don't know if people know about the Scott sisters. Those sisters who were incarcerated in the state of Mississippi.
Yes,
they just
came home.
Yeah, they just got released, yeah.
Yeah.
So this morning we had Gladys. Tonight we're going to have Jamie. We should have had both of them together, but because Jamie is on dialysis, she had to go for dialysis today.
And then, not to cut you off, but that's why they released the other sister. They released them on a contingency that the other sister would give her, was it a liver?
A kidney.
Her kidney to the other sister. That's how they got released. So, and you have it on your show. I'm going to be, I have to
so tonight,
set my alarm to stay up tonight.
Tonight, Jamie, that's a
93.5.
who needs a kidney. She's going to be on tonight with us, yeah.
93.5
93.5
at midnight.
Midnight till 3 we do it. We call it
Midnight
Radios
till 3.
Underground. And we describe it as a Pan-African broadcast, yeah.
Wow, that's going to be a special one.
It's a kind of a little bit more political than the morning program, yeah.
Right. Is that, I know that's on the radio, but does that get broadcast for the people who don't get good radio reception? Can they get that on the web also?
Yes, it's people can tune in on their internet at wvipfm.com.
Okay. So that's it, because I'm sure more people will be on the computer than they will be tuning on the radio. Nobody listens to the radio. Well, people listen to the radio, but most of us techies are on the internet. So that's it, wvipfm.com.
Indeed.
And very, very special guest. Very special guest
indeed,
with a story to tell.
Yes, this morning was very powerful. I mean, the call-in rate was